A Tale of Two Cities is an 1859 historical novel by the British author Charles Dickens. Dickens was born in Hampshire in 1812. He was forced to leave school at the age of 12 to work in a factory after his father was sent to a debtors' prison. 3 years later, his grandmother died, leaving the family enough money to redeem him, but his mother prevaricated. Dickens never forgave her, and it affected his view of women. In many of his novels, including A Tale of Two Cities, when they're virtuous, they're often slightly insipid. He went on to become a journalist and submitted his first piece of fiction to a magazine in 1833. In 1836, he began publishing a series of stories that became the Pickwick Papers, and whose success turned him into a literary celebrity. He died in Kent in 1870 at the age of 58. A Tale of Two Cities begins in the year 1775, and it's set in England and France in the years leading up to the French Revolution in 1789. There are four main characters. Charles Darnay is a Frenchman who relocates to England and anglicizes his surname in disgust at his uncle's, the Marquis Saint-Evremond's, philosophy of the desirability of upper-class tyranny. In Britain, things don't go well for Darnay. He's arrested for treason, but in court, the case against him collapses after the second major character, a dissolute barrister by the name of Sidney Carton, radically undermines the credibility of the prosecution's witnesses. Darnay and Carton both end up falling in love with a sweet, rather inoffensive young Frenchwoman called Lucy Manette. At the beginning of the novel, Lucy's father is presumed long dead, but then news arrives that he's been released from the Bastille after an incarceration of 18 years. Lucy travels to France and brings him back to Britain. On the boat home, she meets Darnay, with whom she falls in love. The two eventually marry. Sidney Carton continues to pine for Lucy, but accepts his love is unrequited. Her domesticated near-saintliness nevertheless has an effect on him, gradually turning him into a better person. He becomes a family friend, and he comes to respect Darnay. Darnay's evil uncle dies, and Darnay becomes the new Marquis. Not that it means much to him, and since there's just been a revolution in France, aristocratic privilege is a thing of the past anyway. However, he learns that his uncle's servant, an innocent man, has just been arrested by the revolutionaries, and he feels obliged to attempt a rescue. He returns to France. I said there were four main characters. The fourth is Lucy's father, who after his long spell in prison has become a popular hero of sorts. But it turns out he has a dark link to his son-in-law's uncle, the evil Marquis, which might make the reader wonder where his ultimate allegiances lie. And will Sidney Carton take advantage of Darnay's perilous excursion to revolutionary France to further insinuate himself into Lucy's affections, or not? A Tale of Two Cities is one of the best-selling novels of all time. Like much of Dickens's work, it's full of improbable coincidences. His worlds always seem to be incredibly small, and no one ever seems to comment on the fact. In return, however, you get outstanding writing and an energetic storyline. Something significant is always happening. Although this novel is about a revolution, its focus isn't on the underlying ideas. Like a lot of mid-Victorian novels, its main concern is with what constitutes a morally good character, how such a thing can be built, rebuilt, or undone, and how it manifests itself in society. Which is both a strength and a weakness. A strength because many of the moral qualities we value in people haven't changed. Courage in adversity, loyalty in friendship and love, altruism. And yet the novel's chief portrait of a morally good woman is arguably one-sided and probably antiquated. A lot of water has passed under the bridge since A Tale of Two Cities first appeared, which might seem to make it astonishing that it can still speak so powerfully to the modern reader. But then, despite his shortcomings, Dickens can do that. Ask anyone.